Welcome, beautiful souls, to another conversation, another empowered conversation to empower you in your life to become the best version of yourself right here, right now. So, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell these beautiful viewers a little bit about yourself.
All right, my name is Gregorio, and I am originally from Atlanta, but I now live in Playa del Carmen for 3 years now. I'm married. I have 7 kids, but 3 kids are here currently living with us. And I am enjoying this beautiful, beautiful life that we've created for ourselves.
Super beautiful.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing here. This backdrop is a perfect example of everyday life, being able to mix technology with old world.
Yeah. Fun fact, when I first got here, I looked around, I was like, I didn't know Mayans had cement. And I looked it up, and they were some of the first civilizations that worked out something similar to cement. So like what you have holding these rocks together is something similar to cement. And it's still here. I'm not 100% sure that they haven't edited it with real cement, but you know, to make it last longer. But yes. Anyway, side quest. So my first favorite question: what is personal empowerment to you?
Personal empowerment to me is freedom. The ability to make choices for yourself completely. To be able to not only make your choices, but also hold yourself accountable for your choices. Because if we can all hold ourselves accountable in the choices that we make, then we can make that much more powerful and positive choices for everyone, not even just ourselves.
Yeah,
so freedom.
Yeah, and freedom, taking ownership of your choices.
Yes. So
beautiful.
imagine that you can do anything, but you also have to accept the consequences to anything that you do. It seems simple, but we live in a world where we're truly not allowed to do anything that we want to do. The consequences come before you even actually do it, or even get finished doing it in many cases. So how free are we?
Well, do you believe that the law is inside of you and also outside of you?
Do I believe that the law is inside of me and outside of me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In a way that, like, what you determine is to be wrong inside of you also determines partially what outside of you is determined to be wrong.
Absolutely. I do agree with that. I agree that outside forces also influence what you consider right or wrong versus what your own inside choices. A perfect example of this, and I love to say this all the time, is one of the first things that children learn how to do is lie. And they learn to lie for self-preservation. For whatever fear that they have, they learn to lie. So the world makes lying bad, but it's not necessarily, especially when you add accountability into it. Sometimes you may have to lie to survive. So you can't say that you're not supposed to ever lie. If this guy says, hey, if you are a Jewish person, I'm going to kill you. Are you Jewish? You should be able to say, no, I'm not Jewish. You don't have to stand on it right in this moment for foreverness. Like, you don't have to feel shame for forever because you lied in that moment.
Yeah.
You survived.
I think what I hear in there is, like, I 100% agree. At some point, like, withholding the truth, I say that rather than lying, is important.
It is.
But at other times, here's where the counter of those choices comes in. If you lie to someone in the moment, say your partner, for example, you say, oh, no, I wasn't doing that.
Yes.
Later on, that could bite you the fuck in the ass.
It can.
And that's where, for me, the no lying factor comes in. It's like, I need to gauge, okay, my partner's not actually going to kill me. She's going to get mad, and we might have a moment of separation for a while.
Yes.
But in the long run, it's better than lying. It
is. As long as we have 2 rational people. Because remember, with children, they will lie for fear of discipline and or violence. And so it applies all the way through life. If somebody has a gun pointed at you and asks you a question, you're going to respond differently than if they don't have anything pointed at you. So even in relationships, how did she ask you what she was asking, and what would be the consequences of the truth or a lie? Sometimes you have to weigh those things.
Sure. Yeah, interesting direction. So what would be an empowered shift in perspective that you gained recently or in the past?
To live my life honestly. When we were just talking about lying, if I have to lie, it is because of a very detrimental situation. Otherwise, I'm going to be completely truthful. And so truthful that many people can't handle it because it's unfiltered. A lot of what we have in the world now is PC. You want to say one thing, but you have to think about it before you say it, so then you change it to something else and you don't even get the full meaning of what you meant to say because you had to use a secondary or a third word to express yourself.
100%. So much fear around how someone else is going to react.
Yes.
Which also comes down to the nervous system and all the inner part of us that is afraid of ultimately death, being thrown out of tribes or whatever it is going way back.
And shame.
Shame, exactly. That's exactly the word. And so it makes sense, but that's the power, right? Overcoming that shame. Overcoming that fear of expressing your truth or sharing that thing. And knowing that you're still going to survive. Like you're not actually going to die. You might lose a friend, or that might that LGBTQ person might yell at you for a couple of hours, but
if you make this choice for yourself and you believe in the choice that you make, you will be far better off for yourself than ever wondering if you made the wrong choice for someone else. We all go through life to learn, and some experiences are harder than others, but that's another thing for me. My one of the most important things in my life at this point is to fully experience. You know, when you're a young person, you think about your family, you think about your wife, you think about your kids, you think about preparing to make sure that they always have all of the things that they need. But after a while, you start to realize that they can do a lot of these things for themselves, and they don't need as much as you thought that they did, so that you can start focusing more on the experience than making sure that you are making sure that there's enough for them if something happens to you. I think it would be better for you to make sure that nothing happens to you and focus on yourself first.
So something there that's coming through a little bit is when you think about providing, kind of that providership part of yourself, is there something that you still want to provide, that you want to empower yourself to provide, or something that you used to want to be able to provide and you empowered yourself to provide? And how did you achieve that?
I started out overachieving. I've always overachieved with my family, and probably to their detriment. And so then I had to scale that back tremendously, because I realized that I was actually crippling my wife and my kids, to be honest with you. I was providing everything, and even though I wasn't providing instruction for them to do more, they couldn't ever see themselves doing more than me, so why try? So I had to scale myself back in a way where I live a much more simplistic life, and so they have to do more to have what they want, because I am not willing to continue to provide those same unnecessary things. All of the necessary things are always provided. Never been a problem with that. But the unnecessary things, yes, that has been crippling my family. And I'm glad to say now that they are very well on their way to being completely, what's the word for it? Self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's what I've always wanted for everybody, including my wife. I've never wanted my wife to just depend on me for forever. Don't get me wrong. I want to be able to give her everything, and I have, but it's still not the same as you doing things for yourself.
For sure.
There's more.
Have her feel empowered too.
Yes. Even for her to buy me things, like for a woman to be able to buy a man things. It brings everything around in full circle.
So how did you first empower that part of yourself say, if you were in their shoes and they're just starting to like provide for themselves, or if someone's listening and they're just starting to provide for themselves, what activated that empowered part of yourself to achieve and to create and to have success, whatever that means?
For me personally, it came from lack. My parents made, from what I understand, even looking at like numbers back then, they made good money, but they were very frugal. And so I can remember at an early age, I was maybe 11, 12 years old, and shoes at that time, if you wanted to get a good pair of shoes, they started at $50 and up. I mean, literally started at $50. Well, my parents said they weren't spending more than $50 on a pair of shoes. So I think the first time I got really frustrated was when my mom took me to like 4 different stores looking for shoes, but I didn't like any of the shoes that were under $50. So I made such a big deal about it. They told me that they were going to help me learn how to make money. And so the first thing that my parents did was get me a paper route. And that was the start of me learning how to make money. Now, there was almost no money in working the paper route. I think I got $80 for like a whole month of running a paper route. But what I did learn from it was that if I did work and it was for enough pay, then it would make sense.
Yeah.
My next job after that, my dad had bought me a lawnmower, maybe like within 4 months of us doing the paper route and tearing up his car, you know, doing the paper route, because they actually were driving me around in the car to do the paper route, right? So he was like, no, we're not going to keep doing this.
Yeah, they probably spent more on fuel than you made in the
But they were trying to
route.
teach me how to be self-sufficient. Since they couldn't provide for me what I wanted, they were going to show me how to provide it for myself.
Sure.
So my father let me use his lawnmower and told me that I could ask people to cut their grass and they would let me do it. He was like, if you ask people to cut your grass, they'll let you cut their grass. And he gave me a number to start with. He's like, tell them you do it for $25. He's like, look at that yard across the street. It'll take you 2 hours to cut that yard. This is in 1988. So that was a lot of money. That was, you know, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so he told me that you could cut a yard that was maybe a half acre or something. He's like, you can cut that yard in 2 hours and they'll pay you $25. If you can get 3 of those yards a week, you can make $75 a week. And you can buy you a new pair of shoes, and you can buy candy. And so for me, I started doing the math in my mind. I had already been good with math. So I asked the first person and they said yes. And I asked the second person and they said yes. And I asked the third person and they said yes. All of these people had kids who didn't want to cut grass. And they wanted to show their kids, a, I guess, an example. And so they would pay me and then talk shit to their kids. But I was making $200 or $300 a weekend on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings cutting grass. So this was my first introduction to being a businessman, because I was able to buy everything that I wanted as a young teenager and beyond, because I figured out early that people would pay me for my time. And my time constantly got more and more valuable over time. And so what started out as $25 for 2 hours turned into $30 for an hour, $50 for an hour, $100 for an hour, $200 for an hour. Just kept going up because I know what my value is. But you don't know that until you start interacting with people and finding out.
And also, like, what were the next steps? You went lawn mowing, then what was like?
Lawn mowing, oh man, there was so many steps, sorry. So.
Just like a quick somewhere through.
Right, so I did lawn mowing for years. I started lawn mowing between 11 and 12, and I kept cutting grass until I was about 14 or 15. I also, in that time, learned how to clean gutters. And gutters, I could clean people's gutters in 15 minutes, and I could make $75. I loved that. It was risky because a lot of people's roofs were high and they were pitched. But I was, you know, a kid that was very active. So jumping off of stuff, doing flips and everything, that was up my alley. He might be coming to say something to us. I don't know.
Maybe. And so what was some of the final steps?
The final steps. There was so many more steps. This is just stage one. This is kindergarten.
Okay.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Disculpen la molestia. No pueden tomar
So we're talking about lawn mowing.
Yep.
And then what was next in a like quick succession?
Okay, so after the lawn mowing, I went to selling candy at school, and I came up with a genius plan in school to hire other people to help me sell candy. So I got a discounted price on candy at a grocery store that I worked at, and I would take multiple book bags of candy to school, and I would give people book bags, and they would give me a certain portion of the money every day. So I was making like $120 a day selling candy. And I got to the point where I was no longer selling candy. And they were just having other people sell candy. I'm serious, this is candy, not drugs, this is candy. I had to clarify that. I don't want anybody to think that I'm speaking in code, no. And I was able to buy my first car and my second car.
From candy?
From candy.
Nice.
And working at the grocery store, but more candy than the grocery. Yes. I even I started to be able to give my mom things, buying her gifts and things of that nature. So from there, after I bought the cars, it took me into a different stage of my life. And I started getting into different types of commerce. And that would probably be for another day, I'm sure, because those are very long stories.
Yeah, sure. So what would you say, like, I want to give the best for people who are listening. So if someone is in that place where they're wanting to provide for people, they're wanting to tap into that provider part of themselves, what would you say the key pieces are? How would you empower yourself in that area?
The first thing is to take small steps towards your goal. The most important thing about anything that you want to do is believing in it. I mean, truly believing in it. Even if you say, I need $20 by tomorrow, I'm going to find a way. Once you find that way, actually believe in it and do it. It will work for you.
Would you say believe in it or believe in yourself?
Believe in yourself. Believe in the plan that you created for yourself. I often ask people what they want to do to make money because it's easy to make money. The harder thing to do is to actually stick with something that you enjoy to be able to make the money that you want to make.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing in there is you just started out really early with a belief that it's easy to make money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very easy to make money. I can show you. All right. So off the top of my head right now, right? I look at this whole beach. There's at least 200 people over here. And you know what I don't see? I don't see water. So if I had cases of water, right? I could buy 24 cases of water. I could sell each water for $1 a piece. Case of water costs $3. So I can make $24 off of the water. If I had nothing else in life, and I got dropped off at a place like this, I would be able to buy a case of water and support myself.
So what I'm hearing is you're looking at, you could say, the market.
Yes.
And you've assessed a need.
Yes.
No water. Something like that.
Yes.
And you've gone, okay, I can go and buy that and sell it for more here.
Yes. Absolutely. Because I will keep people from having to go to the store to buy water.
Sure.
It's $1. Everyone has $1 for a water. So if you walk back and forth over a period of time, you will sell out 24 of them. There are many people here who don't make $24 a day.
However, though, if your time is valuable,
yes,
is that really the smartest thing you could do with your time?
I would find 10 guys to sell water. And then I would no longer have to sell water anymore because there's a lot of other people who are also looking for a way to make some money. Always.
Sure. 100%. So
that was a base way. That was like worst case scenario. Drop me off and I had $5 in my pocket.
Yeah.
We build from there, but we're talking about literally from nothing.
What would you say helps you discern what would be that thing? Because say someone's starting out and they're wanting to be in that place, providing and being empowered in that way. But there's so many options. There's like 1,000 things you could do on the internet. There's 1,000 little businesses you could run on the beach. There's right? So what would help you discern and determine which one to focus on?
Is this speaking strictly in trying to finance a family or taking care of myself?
Generally just provide. I mean, I feel like people who are going to listen to this and watch this are going to be in different areas. But ultimately it's a similar piece, like providing for self and then providing for others is coming from the same place.
Finding what you want to do and making yourself valuable in that profession. No matter what profession you're in, there's a scale of how much one person makes versus the top person. And so if you can leverage yourself to be in the higher bracket of whatever your profession is, again, we're talking about what you like to do, so you should be good at it. Even if you're not good at it, you should be getting better at it because you enjoy it. Anything we practice, we get better at. So if you find something that you really enjoy, It no longer becomes work. Now, even if you don't make a lot of money on the front side or in the beginning, if you can coast or be able to survive in the beginning, you're surely going to make what you need eventually because you're doing what you love and it translates to people who are going to buy from you.
Beautiful. So if you could leave one message with someone who's wanting to step into that aspect of their empowered self today, and they're sitting there watching this, what would you leave?
To trust in yourself, to trust in your first impression, your first intuition, your first choices. A lot of times we doubt ourselves, and that is the biggest thing that slows us down. There are no mistakes in trying to figure out what you're doing if you're doing it with great intention. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. You fix it and you keep going. Even if you're going in the wrong direction, you stop, you turn around, you come back. You only sit still when you do not know what to do at all, or your life is so bad that it's better for you to sit still until it calms a little bit. Other than that, you need to be doing something. Preferably what you like to do. I have another saying, and this applies to anybody who can't, at this current time, do what they want to do. Do what you can do until you can do what you want to do. What that means to me is, if there's something that I want to do, but it's not attainable yet, do all of the other things until that thing becomes attainable. So when that thing becomes attainable, I've already done these other things and they're not in the way of me being able to do the thing that I've been waiting on. Does that make sense?
For sure, yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel like there's also like a belief block that comes in there? If you're not able to do the thing yet, and you still need to do something that is obtainable, is there some kind of a belief block that's stopping you, preventing you from obtaining whatever it is?
Not necessarily. It might not be time right. For an example, let's say you want $1 billion. Well, in order for you to have the $1 billion the way that you want and to be able to keep it, that means you need to learn some things first. So to give you the $1 billion now, you squander it. Was it really time for you to have it yet? No. It's yours, but you haven't went through the steps yet to actually get it. It's for everybody. I've owned almost every type of car. I've been to many different places. I've eaten the nicest of the food and the nicest of the restaurants. You have to believe that you're supposed to have it. That God blessed all of us equally and you just haven't gotten your share of the blessing yet. You have to believe that these things are for you. You can't. I've never been envious of anyone. If I see any person and they have something that I want, I tell myself that I can have that too. I don't have to have his thing. I can have a thing like it because this person is no different than me. That's it.
I think that's such a key piece there, especially in my own work, is being so aware of that envious energy, that lack energy that comes in around seeing someone with something that you want.
Yes.
And that ends up disrupting and pushing away the thing that you want.
Yes.
Because you're constantly in this energy of I don't have it.
Yes.
Or constantly in this, basically the energy of I don't have it, they have it. Or I just don't have it.
Right. So start out with small things. I bought my first car at 14 and it was a shitty car. But I've owned maybe 75 cars in my life. So there was many kids who had better cars than me at early ages. Their parents bought them cars, all of the things. I still ended up having better cars because I chose that for myself and I believed it. So the belief, it starts with small things. I wanted to do a podcast. Look, you just show up and say, hey, let's do a podcast. And it's like, that means I'm doing something right. Like you I don't know how many people you ask, but you don't ask everybody. So, it's all, I don't know how to explain this part, but you also have to have you have to ground yourself so that you can hear. A lot of people are running around and they are moving around so much that they're not sitting still enough to know what is for them and what is not, because they are in a very wavy place. And a lot of the things that happen for me in my life come from me being able to listen, and not just with my ears, but with feeling. Like I almost didn't even come and run on Saturday. I almost didn't because I hadn't been coming for 6 weeks in a row, and I just didn't feel like doing it. But I did, and so here we are right now. Because I did something that I wanted to do, but I didn't want to do, but I'd already made a commitment to myself to do it, and so I did it. And here we are.
And then you got your podcast that you were thinking about.
Exactly.
So it's like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That moving through what you don't want to do sometimes to achieve the thing that you do want to.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't seem like it sometimes.
Even though it doesn't even seem like it's going to happen.
You probably had no concept of there being a podcast coming out of Saturday.
I had no concept of me even having this much conversation with you, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's honest. And so it's like people need to know that these things are possible. People ask for things, and sometimes it happens so quickly for them that they don't even believe that it happened because it's like, how did that happen? You know, somebody can be like, oh, I hate my job. I'm ready to quit. And someone says, hey, we got a new job for you in another state. You'd be like, well, I can't move. You just asked for a new job. You asking for a new life, and this is going to be your new life, but you're turning it down because you're fearful of it.
Turning it down, or the other piece that I feel comes in there is like, you've asked for something, but you haven't specified.
Yes,
and so it shows up and you're like, no, this is not what I meant. This job is in another state, this job is in another country, like, it's not what I meant. The universe is like, you just asked for a
and
job.
I'm giving you the best option too.
Yeah.
I'm really giving you the best option. I'm not giving you a shitty option because I love you. I'm giving you a great option. You're turning it down because of fear.
You're going to get over the fear.
Yes.
But, I mean, yes, is fear. And yes, I feel sometimes there's also things that we also want that if we do leave somewhere we are to go through fear to go to the other thing, we will leave the thing that we may have wanted. And so then we have to go into another discernment space of, wait, is the new thing I'm being offered more valuable to me than the old thing?
Right.
And discerning whether the old thing actually, like, you're truly actually it's gonna disappear or not.
It goes back to, did you ask for it? For an example, when my family moved here, I didn't see them for 9 months. Now, this is the first time I've never not seen my family for that long. And the reason why it was that way is because in the beginning, when we first made these plans, I was positive that my passport was in the safe. The last time I used it was last year. Well, when it was time for us to leave and do all the things that we need to do, my passport's not in the safe. I left my passport in another country, not even another country, but in another state, in another hotel a year ago. So it held me up.
Yeah.
And so my family took this trip to another country to move by themselves, and I was stuck in America. I could have said no. Everybody's going to wait until I get my passport. But I was like, no, I need to let this process happen the way it's supposed to, and that's the way it needed to. My wife would have leaned on me so much more if I had been available than me not being available. It made her stronger by me not being available.
Which was probably something you were asking for at the time.
Probably something she asked for.
Oh, she asked for, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you for this beautiful conversation.
No problem, bro.